Good afternoon, I'm Joanne Prinsloo, and welcome to another power discussion here at Health for Mzansi. As you know, we focus on an array of themes and topics within the health and wellness sort of sector side of things. But today we're going to be focusing on weight loss. And I think it's a very important discussion because I think a lot of us will be feeling a bit, anxious about the hot summer days coming up and thinking about all the carbs that we consumed during the colder and winter months. But to add to the discussion, and I think valuable contributions, we of course have experts in the field, and I have Anél with me, who's a dietitian, and Wonga, who's a fitness and health instructor. But I'm going to allow you to please introduce yourself, and thank you for joining us at this discussion.
Thank you, Joanne, for having us. I'm Anél, Kirsten, and I'm a dietitian based here in Paarl in private practice, and I have been in practice since 2008, mainly focusing on weight loss, insulin resistance, and managing chronic disease by making changes to people's diets.
Great. Thank you. Thanks, Anél.
Thank you very much for having me as well, Joanne. My name is Wonga Zani. I'm a personal trainer at Paarl Virgin Active. I specifically cater to health and wellness people and athletes as well. So that's my specialty, and I stick to that. And I just do what I gotta do.
Great. So I think we're gonna cover a great deal today because we get to focus on the outer, the physical, Wonga, that is definitely you. And then Anél, right, the internal aspect of weight and weight loss. And like I said earlier on, Anél, I think, weight loss and weight gain, I think goes hand in hand when you're talking about the broader conversation. So let us start off with, and fat and how it is. Is there a genetic history to it? How can we understand it better?
Well, I think if we think about current weight loss programs, it predominantly focuses on energy in versus energy out. For example, cutting the energy intake and increasing energy expenditure by means of physical activity. But weight loss, unfortunately, is not that easy. Weight loss is complicated, and 40 to 70% of variability in weight gain and a person's ability to lose weight based on science all lies in genetics.
Okay. So what other stuff you have to look at, for example, if you want to set yourself up for success and you really want to lose weight? What do you look at?
Okay, well, first of all, there's a lot of factors we need to consider when we are looking at weight loss. So first of all, yes, we need to look at an individual's diet, their exercise or their activity levels, but other factors, like I've mentioned, genetics is another thing we need to look at. Lifestyle choices. Your genes interact with the environment that you find yourself within, and also your lifestyle choices. For example, some people might be genetically predisposed to being overweight, which means when they are exposed to an environment which is obesogenic, meaning that is environment that promotes obesity, they are most likely going to be overweight and obese, as with some other individuals are more genetically resistant to being overweight and obese.
Okay.
And if they are exposed to an obesogenic environment, they would be able to maintain a healthy weight. And that is where genetics comes in.
Yeah.
Other factors we need to look at is, for example, sleep. If you don't sleep well, it predisposes you to weight gain. For example, if you sleep poorly, it increases ghrelin, which is the appetite-stimulating hormone, and it suppresses leptin, which is the hormone that causes satiety. Other factors we need to consider is stress. Stress increases cortisol. Cortisol increases insulin. Insulin is a fat-stimulating or fat-storing hormone, and that fat especially likes to go and sit around the tummy area, and that is also the dangerous fat that predisposes us to chronic diseases.
Definitely.
We also need to look at medications. Certain medications also make it harder for you to lose weight. For example, like continuous use of cortisone. We also need to look at gut function, blood tests. So there's various factors that a person needs to be looking at when we want to establish a successful weight loss program instead of just looking at exercise and diet.
Yeah. This is actually much more complex and complicated. So, Wonga, how do you feel when someone approaches you and they're just like, listen, yeah, I need to lose weight? And is this the type of discussions that you have with the client?
Okay, so from my perspective and from my field of exercise is that if a person approaches me regarding fat loss, the first thing that I always point out is that fat loss is not just about working out, doing cardio, strength training, high interval intensity. It all starts with what you actually feed your body. So if I were to make an example, you can't put the same fuel that you put in a Toyota, you can't put the same petrol that you put in a Toyota in a Ferrari, and then vice versa. You have to feed the body what it actually needs in order for you to actually reach the goal. And with hand in hand with exercise, the right amount of training, the right techniques, forms, and the right plan, then you're well on your way into actually achieving. So if I were to put it simple, fat loss is more or less 80% of what you feed the body and more or less your diet, and then the 20% comes in with the workouts, the exercise, and everything. So she got everything right on spot.
Definitely. And I think sometimes when we mention fat loss or weight loss, it is synonymous with being healthy or doing something good for ourselves. But when does that become unhealthy? And I'm opening the question up to any one of you too.
Look, there's always a very fine line between taking a tad bit far. I think what is also very important to tie in with what he also said is when we're looking at exercise, you need to be also careful of overtraining or undereating, because that means you are actually losing muscle mass. Now, the more muscle you have, the better your metabolic rate, aka your ability to burn fat. So if you lose a lot of muscle, it actually slows down your metabolic rate, which means once you then go back to your old way of doing things, you could actually regain more fat, which in the long run is detrimental to your health, and then also at the same time having less muscle and a slower metabolic rate.
Sure. Okay. Do you want to add anything to that, Wonga?
Okay, so if I were to put it, I would like to add to what she said. So there's this whole misconception, whereas when it comes to weight loss, people tend to think that you have to eat less or not eat at all, which is totally wrong. You have to eat in order for your body to actually function properly, so that you can actually achieve that goal that you have of weight loss. And like she said, under eating and overtraining is also one of the major factors that people actually struggle with weight loss as well.
Yeah.
So just to balance everything out, your diet should be balanced, your weight training should be balanced, your exercise should be balanced. And another thing that I also like to add is that your mentality towards everything to that also has to be stable, because if we're actually being quite honest, whatever you put your mind to, you will achieve. So I think those three actually fill in the factor, whereas it's a triangle of journey to actually achieve weight loss.
And then also to tie in with what you've said is, I firmly believe that consistency is key. You can't jump on a bandwagon, think I'm going to start exercising, eating correctly, etc., but it only lasts for 6 weeks. We need to be consistent with what we are doing on a long-term basis in order for us to improve our health and prevent disease.
Yeah, I think that's where the lifestyle discussion comes in. It should work towards a lifestyle than just this short term. For the 6 months, I'm not doing carbs, and then after that 6 months, you go on a binge of just eating carbs because your body has just missed it so much. But with the nutrition discussion, and I think this is maybe what you work with and grapple with more, understanding food groups when it comes to understanding how your body works. How important is that?
I think education is very important.
Yeah.
I always say to the people when I see them, you need to understand why you should not be eating a certain type of food, aka, let's say, for example, pie. The reason why pie is bad for you is because it's pro-inflammatory. It causes inflammation. So once you understand why you should be avoiding certain things and rather choosing other factors or other foods, it's all about education, because by understanding why you should be doing certain things, it also motivates you at the same time.
Yeah. So how do we get access to this information? Is it something that you can go to your regular GP or a dietitian? How do we get access to this education?
I think when you want support and health, go and see the experts in a certain field. Therefore, if you want support when it comes to your fitness or your exercise regime, go see an expert in the field.
Yeah.
If you feel you need support with regards to stress management, go see an expert in the field. If you feel you need support from a dietary point of view, go see someone like a dietitian who specializes in the field of weight management and insulin resistance.
And of course, that would be specific to the individual. It's not really something that you can do research about it by yourself, but if you want a specific, let me say, a diagnosis for your body, it's...
Yeah, and I think there's also been a massive movement over the past few years looking at people individually. What works for you doesn't necessarily work for the person sitting next to you, because we are all genetically very different.
Yeah.
I mean, if you look at genetics, some people do better on a low-fat diet, other individuals do better on a higher-fat diet. And that all comes down to genetics. And this is where we need to fine-tune eating plans or exercise regimes, is by looking at people individually. And you can't make use of a blueprint plan just thinking a certain plan is going to work for everyone.
Yeah, true. So that brings me to this, Wonga, and I think this is going to touch more on the physical aspect. Are there different types of weight loss for different people?
Yes. So basically, everything in terms of physical training, everything is tailored out to a person's needs. As stated, not everyone is more genetically the same. One thing may work for one person, and it may not work for the other person as well. So basically, everything is tailored to each of their own. Basically, so you can go different styles of training: high intensity training, strength training, resistance training, functional training. You can also do some hybrid training and incorporate that. There's also crossfit training. So each of those fundamentals of training actually have its own specific advantages as to how it can actually help and aid you towards your weight loss.
Okay. I think we're gonna hear a lot of this term, or we've heard a lot about it, summer body or summer body goals. And is there any sort of dangers around that sort of thinking or preparation, where you just preparing yourself for a specific season and then it's kind of like when that season is over and done?
Yes. Look, again, people are very different. For some individuals, it's a kickstart to get them going into the right direction. And after the holidays, they come back
after winter
and they continue their journey. But then there's other individuals who just do it for the 10 or 12 weeks challenge that they sign up with. And then they just go back to the old way of doing things. And like we've mentioned, these very drastic yo-yo kind of approaches could be detrimental in the long run, because there is also such a thing as unhealthy weight loss.
Yeah.
Healthy weight loss is regarded as being 500 grams to a kilogram a week. However, some individuals might find it more difficult. To them, it could be anything between 300 grams to a kilogram a week. So I'm always very cautious of regimes that promise you 3 kilograms a week, because there's always that risk of losing muscle.
Okay. And Wonga, just in your experience and in your field of work, have you come across any sort of regimes or diets that people have shared with you and you're like, please do not do that. That is so detrimental to your body, to just your general health, to your psyche. Have you come across any of these?
Oh yes. If not a daily thing, then it's a weekly thing. So basically, so a lot of people like to put out regimes that they specifically say guaranteed 2 kgs a week, 5 kgs a week, or you can lose 10 to 15 kilos within a month, in which, realistically talking, it's totally out of the chat right now. So like she said, between more or less between the margin of 200 to 500 grams a week, that is very, very realistic, right there. And it always comes down to your tailored meal plan, or what you eat, seeing a dietitian, seeing someone that actually specializes in that field, and also seeing someone that also specializes in the physical training field, whereas they know what needs to be done, the amount of training that you need to do, how much high intensity training that you need to do, strength training, cardio as well. A lot of people like to think cardio actually is the main source of weight loss, whereas it's not it. Cardio is actually for cardiovascular health. So like I said in the beginning, the main factor for fat and weight loss is 80% of what you actually feed yourself. And then the 20% comes in with regards to the physical training to actually go hand in hand and actually get you towards your weight loss journey, and for you to actually get to where you need to be.
And also, adding to what you've just said, is also people should not become too fixated on the number on the scale. Often if you start with an exercise regime, there could be the chance of you gaining muscle mass, which we want. That is positive because that improves your body's fat burning ability.
Okay, so now can you actually just explain that? Because I think the number on the scale is probably what motivates people the most, and it makes you feel like, okay, what I'm doing is right, there's progress on my journey. But when we talk about, is it muscle mass? Do we talk about the muscle gaining strength? Can you just delve into that a bit
when
more?
you look at the number on the scale, your body weight, that is a sum total of muscle, fat, water, and bone, right? So subsequently, if you lose fat and gain muscle, it could very easily happen that your weight stays the same.
Yeah.
So I always encourage people to rather look at their body composition instead of their body weight.
So what do we look at when we look at our body composition?
We want to be aiming to reduce our body fat percentage. It's our body fat percentage that is detrimental to our health. And we really want to try and maintain a healthy muscle mass.
Okay.
That brings me to the topic of being skinny fat. You get some people who weighs very little, but that also means having very little muscle mass and having a larger proportion of fat mass, which is also not good for your health in the long run.
Sure. Okay. Because I'm just thinking now, you can come across a skinny person, but they're unhealthy, they're unfit, they cannot walk around the block without, like breathing really loud, or You wanted to mention something, sorry?
Just to add what she said, so in the physical training aspect and the physical training industry, so just to put everything in a nutshell, the whole name of everything that she just said is what we call recomposition. So basically, just to explain it in simple words, you lose body fat, but you gain muscle. The scale still stays the same. The only thing that people should be focused on is their appearance, if there's any improvements. So what we normally do as personal trainers and fitness professionals is that we take caliper readings, meaning that we take measurements all throughout your body, like your bicep, your tricep, your chest, your thigh, just to see where you are. And if it actually decreases, that's actually a good thing, because now your body fat is decreasing and your muscles are actually, your muscle mass and your lean muscle are actually growing. So it may have a factor regarding your weight, but your appearance changes, the weight stays the same. That's everything in a nutshell.
Okay. We touched on this a little bit earlier on. I think it's a lot to do with a holistic approach, but also having balance in this weight loss journey. How do we have grace with ourselves when it comes to balance, in terms of when you do your meal prep, when you're disciplined with going to the gym 5 times a week? Is it okay to have balance and to have the cheat meal and to have the chocolate?
Yes, always. When I see people, I always say, you can have a cheat meal, not a cheat day,
Yeah.
a cheat meal.
The experts are
Yeah,
saying
no,
that,
it's
yeah.
very important, the
Yeah.
detail. Once a week, because it often just puts you back on the straight and narrow, if I could put it that way. You might be fancying a massive pizza. So Friday evening, get it out of your system,
Yeah.
and you are ready to continue with your journey the next morning.
Yeah. Can I just say, I really do not like the concept of depriving oneself, because I just feel that if you do crave that and you have a moment of, let me spoil myself, let me indulge in that, and then it'll be over and then you can carry on with your journey, like you said. But the deprivation it's just a very unhealthy concept for me.
I absolutely agree with you. It not just only makes weight loss hard, but the mental impact it has, being deprived the entire time of something that potentially could be making you happy, or provide you with some satisfaction.
Definitely. Just delving into the mental aspect of it, and I know we're not psychologists here, but have you come across cases where we've seen that, okay, this weight loss journey is impacting you on a very mental level now? Have you seen?
Have you?
Yes. So going back and also adding to my fellow health professional said so as well. She said that stress is also a factor that actually causes you to actually gain fat, in which it stimulates cortisol and insulin as well. So if your mental capacity is not in the right state, you tend to fall back mentally, in which mentally it also causes you for you to fall back physically as well. And then you start withdrawing yourself from what actually motivated you into this weight loss journey. And then now you are now in a, I wouldn't say like a dark pit, but like in a dark space mentally, and you can't manage to get yourself out there unless there are those people that are there to support you from the get-go.
Yeah.
And that are actually there to help you as well. So I do think that mentally, the weight loss journey does actually impact on a person, but as long as they keep everything positive, and if they have people supporting them and people that actually hold them accountable, and also people that they can also actually confide and say, hey, I'm not feeling it, feeling like it today. Okay, cool. Let's not go hit the waist. Let's go take a walk or go up for a hike on the mountain, just to get your mind off and get some clarity and just blow some steam off.
Yeah.
So that you can actually recuperate yourself, and then the next day you're ready to attack and get straight back on track again. So I wouldn't say it's a norm, but from time to time you tend to see people that actually go through the most mentally when it comes to weight loss, because they just think that it's only a physical thing, whereas it's actually not just a physical thing, it's a mental thing.
Yeah, and I think what we need to keep in mind is that a health journey is supposed to make you feel better. It's supposed to make you feel good about yourself. So if we start hovering towards the other side of the spectrum, there's some red flags there.
Okay, great. Definitely what I'm getting out of this discussion is that the weight loss journey is best approached in a holistic way. So in conclusion, what are words of encouragement or motivation for people that are wanting to start a weight loss journey, or people that are in their weight loss journey? Are there any closing remarks?
Rome was not built in a day. So consistency, discipline, and perseverance actually gets you on track with regards to your weight loss journey. Because comparing day one to the last day, it's really far apart. You should not be so fixated on the destination. You should be more focused on the journey, the person that you become, what habits you actually adopt. And in most cases that I've actually experienced, when people come to me and say, Wonga, I want to go on a weight loss journey, I have this deadline up until that day. Okay, I'm like, okay, cool, no stress, that won't be a problem. We go through it, and then they slowly transition to make that a life thing and a lifestyle. So now after they reach their goal, they still carry on with it, because now it's now a part of their lifestyle. So it's not about the destination, it's the journey that actually matters towards weight loss. And people have to understand and accept the fact that if you just they just have to accept the fact that just because you did like 100 push-ups, 100 crunches, you're not gonna have big boulder shoulders, a big chest, and a flat stomach. No, day 1, day 2, day 3, day 4. You take it day by day, and throughout the results will show on its own. And another thing is that like, just because you don't see results does not mean people are not seeing it.
Yeah, and that there's no progress.
Yeah.
People tend to notice the progress first before you notice the progress yourself. So you may get compliments and people may notice, but you still stay fixated on the journey to where you actually want to be. Always have the vision that if I do not stop now, where will I be? Always be curious, where will I land? Where will I end up? Where will I be? How will I look like? What progress will I achieve if I don't give up? So just keep at it, and
Just keep at it in the journey.
I think my advice to those individuals who are sort of deciding still whether they want to start, I would say just start.
Just do it.
Just do it. Stop the excuses and just do it. My advice to those individuals already on a journey is to celebrate the small victories. If you were someone that was chowing a slap in front of the TV every evening and you have managed to break that habit, celebrate that.
Yeah.
If you were someone who have never been active your entire life and you are able to go to the gym 3 days of the week, celebrate it. So don't be too hard on yourself and celebrate the small victories.
Thank you so much. Anél, Wonga, thank you so much for contributing to this very important weight loss discussion that we had today. And I think I'd like to conclude with just saying that, remember, this is a journey. And like we just discussed now, celebrate the small victories and do not forget to only focus on what you're not doing, but what you have achieved already and what you have done already. Thank you.
Health for Mzansi is WhatsApp official. At Health for Mzansi, we put people first. So we have created a safe space where you can get access to our latest health features and be part of a health community. Join our Health Squad or Health Heroes group for more information. Don't forget to follow us on social media.